I am a hybrid. I have engineering practice and experience, licensed as an architect. And what happened to my first slide? Okay. I was supposed to have one before that. So anyway, I'll jump to, gotta go ahead. This is what we do in architecture. We study a lot of different things. There's history, there's theory, there's technology, there's structures, there's building things, and this is going faster than 20 seconds. The big thing in the room is the 800-pound gorilla. This is the legendary gorilla elephant of the Congo. It's the design studio. The design studio is the thing that overwhelms everything else. And I'm so off script, I'm not going to use that. It overwhelms everything else. And the design studio is a learning laboratory. It's where everything, all those disparate things are supposed to come together into one place. And the fact is that it is an open-ended design thing. There's no set answer. You can't look in the back of the book for what happens in the design studio. So my particular piece of the puzzle in teaching is in the structure. I was trying to say I was an engineer and an architect. And so I teach the principles of engineering to architecture students. And the guidelines that we have to go by are very small. It's just one paragraph by the National Architectural Accrediting Board that understand the basic principles of structural behavior. So in lieu of any specific guidelines, the default approach is to teach it as kind of essentially boiled down, watered down engineering. It's to make it, so the architect can understand it, But the problem with this is that many architecture students don't respond well to this. And so we're combating with architecture students who don't want to study engineering. It's boring, it's difficult, it's another math class, and it's just not their cup of tea. And so there's plenty of research that talks about learning, and this also extends into the profession as well. The professional practice of architecture, you have to converse with structural engineers. You have to talk with many different disciplines. And so this is an ongoing discussion in the practice. This was an article about 10 years ago from a professional journal. Why can't Johnny size a beam? So my interest is in what specifically do we need to teach architecture students about structures? And are they learning it fundamentally? So those are two big questions that I've been working with. And so let me get the next slide here. So there's plenty of evidence about learning that engagement is a fundamental aspect of that if you're not actively learning, you're not learning. Or as Terry Doyle of Ferris University likes to say, the one who does the work is the one who does the learning. And in case you're wondering, that is what your brain looks like when it is learning, exercising and learning. So my teaching, I've always tried to do things to engage students beyond just doing computational problems, although I do that. So this is an example of doing a mobile structure. You've all seen art mobiles. Those involve rotational balance and vertical balance, and students create these, and then they will analyze them. So I wanted to find out, do students really understand what they're learning? And so this is an example of a multiple choice concept question that I asked students. And to my chagrin, even doing these hands-on type of experience, the vast majority of students could not answer the correct solution for this, even having studied it. And so I found that this is really an endemic problem, and physicists have been studying this for a long time. This is Dr. Eric Mazur with some of his students in what's called a flipped classroom, where the students are doing most of the learning interactively, and he's there as a guide. And so it came about for him is when a student asked him on a survey, how should I answer this question, according to what you taught me or the way I normally think about this? And this was after the class. So we have that consideration, and then there's other institutional pressures. Assessment. We're expected to be doing more assessment of how our students are actually learning. And so I look at that as an opportunity. How can we leverage that necessary thing to really evaluate our learning experience? So I formed a partnership with Janelle Bailey. She was formerly in the College of Education here at UNLV. She's now at Temple University. She's a science education researcher, and she's asked me the same questions in astronomy education research. And so as a practicing engineer and architect, I don't have a lot of this experience of doing educational research when she did. So I've been applying a lot of those things to study of my own teaching. And it's gone through multiple levels, all the way from before pre-instruction all the way to after all instruction has been done. It's doing surveys, questionnaires, interviews, and attitudes. So this is an example of a level 1 survey. This is given pre-instruction before anybody's done anything in structures. And I give them this kind of implausible situation. How can this be? And students who have kind of any kind of insight into structures of behavioral sense can kind of figure out that, well, one side's heavier than the other. And but the catch is that the students weigh the same. So I asked them to answer that question, and then we categorize those answers and are able to statistically look at what those different answers look like and how do they pan out with different types of interpretations. And that feeds into a second level that I ask as pre-instructional and post-instructional in my classroom. So this is a sample of a level 2 questionnaire. I would give pre-instruction at the beginning of the semester and then also post-instruction at the end of the semester to assess, are they getting it? Are they really learning things? So there's no math involved here. This is all conceptual understanding, which is really the most important thing that architects can do. So in summary, my teaching is my research is my teaching. We call it the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning in Higher Education. And I've also extended this work. I'm working now with the University of Illinois and Roger Williams University. They've administered my assessment instrument at their institutions.